Thanks for joining us, Jared. Just you and myself, another movie from this year. Trying to sort of capture as many of the newer films hitting streaming for coverage. So tonight's film, 2022's Samaritan, Sylvester Stallone's latest opus. But before we get there, have you seen anything recently? I mean, we are pulling this out every week, so, you know, surely the lists are short.
It's shorter. Shorter than the last time.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I've got a few. So, I finished Day Shift, which we spoke about.
What do you think?
It was good fun. I mean, I didn't mind the concept, but it was. I think I said to you last time, it relied a bit on Jamie Foxx just being funny, just tossing stuff out there, and sometimes it was mildly amusing, but overall it was just it was an entertaining. Watched it, didn't mind it. Probably won't go back to it again. We'll forget about it in fucking 3 days' time.
Fair enough.
And then I got onto the 2 docos that we spoke about last time, Trainwreck, Woodstock 99.
What did you think of that?
Yeah, it was good.
Red Hot Chili Peppers? Not doing themselves any favours?
I mean, jeez. Think about your song choice there. Just cut one out of the set.
But also, Anthony, they're burning the fucking place down.
Yeah.
Go out there and tell them to stop.
Oh, I don't think there's anything we can do. Well, you could try.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
could say, please, stop.
I think you underestimate yourself.
Well, I guarantee you, if he had said, listen, if you don't cut that shit out, we're off the stage.
Yep.
Some people would have gone, oh, shit.
Yeah.
It
wouldn't have stopped everyone.
Wouldn't have stopped everyone, but some people would have wanted to hear the Chili Peppers at that point.
And also, I think...
Put your cock away,
yeah,
please.
I know. Was he playing his guitar with that thing? Because, fuck. I don't know about you, Jared. When you're gyrating out on stage with your knob out, and you're getting into it like he is, you're definitely hitting your own cock with that with your guitar.
Of course.
That is having me doubled over.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was the thing that I was underprepared for with Woodstock 99.
Too much
there was
cock.
an abundance of sausage.
No.
I wasn't prepared for.
It was a genuine sausage fest. We probably didn't need to see it all. Yeah, the one thing for me too was the only band that seemed to come off decent was Bush.
Yeah.
Managed to calm the crowd down somehow.
Well, like Fatboy Slim.
Oh yeah, he came off all right.
He came because he was like, he was ready to cut loose.
Yeah. Then he realised,
when someone drives a fucking RV into the middle of your set, what do you do?
Yeah, you say, like, we've had enough for the night, fellas. I mean, didn't he say they fucking bolted for the doors and jumped in the limo and just got out of there?
Yeah, she was pretty bad. But, I mean, it just showed they cut a few corners. I mean, a few corners. They cut a lot of corners and then you had a 250,000 people show up. I mean, you can't cut corners when you're dealing with that many people.
What I love is...
cut corners on security.
The security guy says, we spent 2 days searching bags for any flammables, and then these dickheads went for fucking candles.
Yeah, look. Yeah, there was some interesting decisions there.
Some real deep thinkers, I think, were on the ground there.
And there was one particular guy that was part of the crew. Every time they spoke to him, it was just like, oh, well, they did this wrong. They, what sort of idiot does this and that? It was just the whole time he was saying, you tell it was going to be a shambles from the get-go. Yeah,
and look, it just showcased the difference in eras, too.
Yeah, yep.
69 was a certain way because the 60s was that way.
Yeah.
We're talking 99. We're talking about grunge and metal and stuff like this, new metal music and all that kind of crap. It was angry. It was. I mean, I felt for fucking Sheryl Crow and Jewel. I mean, just having to be part of the set. It just didn't look like the crowd that they would want to be around.
Yeah. I mean, I shouldn't look. I laughed because you'd already pre-warned me about this, and I laughed I was kind of shocked. It jumped up on me where they show the MTV thing going on, and then she's trying to talk, and some bloke out the back goes, "You got a great rack," or something like that, and I started giggling because I didn't expect it to happen. I was just like, "Oh man!" But that was happening the whole show. It's like, fuck.
The frat boy culture.
What are you here for? Yeah.
Part of it, like it's just the whole thing was pretty ugly.
Yeah, you see some of the footage of the shit going on. It was fucking. I mean, if I walked into it and that was night one, I reckon I'd have jumped in the car and left.
Oh, without a doubt.
It looked awful. It looked awful. Especially when the crappers were overflowing. Jesus Christ.
There was feces in the water. It was boiling hot. I need at least a bit of, water to at least dab on my brow. I hope it hasn't got a turd in it.
That's right. Although by day 2, it appeared that the turd was about as best you were going to get. There was no fucking water in the joint. Jeez. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Worse than Fry Festival.
It's shocking. Yeah.
At least they didn't burn the joint down.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty rough, pretty ordinary. Yeah. But the doco was good. And there were parts that I was laughing at. I think that was one of the successes of the doco. They kind of had a couple of bits where you laughed at how much of a shambles it was,
and then things got a little bit serious.
It was. Yeah, like it was fucking awful. And then I watched The Most Hated Man on the internet.
Oh yeah. That was a fantastic doco because that prick really got his comeuppance.
Oh, well, I mean, if that guy was in any way, I mean, if that was your kid, you would just feel like you had just failed every fucking angle of parenting. The guy was just a piece of shit.
He
there
still
was no
is a piece
redeemable
of shit.
quality.
This is the thing. He is a absolutely unredeemable piece of crap.
Yep.
And look, I agree with you. We had a quick discussion earlier on via text. People like Butt Girl, or whatever her name was, Butthole Girl, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. She made some very bad choices.
Yep.
And the only way to get these down, just do more of this stuff.
Yeah.
Are you serious? Like, do you not see what's being done to you?
Yeah.
But she was vulnerable. And
she
this guy exploited.
Obviously in a bad place because they got up there in the first place because, oh yeah, I was on a fucking group call with my friends or whatever and someone dared me to do this. Yeah. And then took a screenshot. Well, fucking, who are your friends?
Yeah, exactly. So we're talking about a vulnerable person and this guy exploited her.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yep.
So, although I think she made some bad choices, I'd still lay the blame very heavily at his feet.
Yeah, of course. Well, if you're a half-decent fucking person, you don't do anywhere near what he did.
No.
And the bloke had no conscience, no care for anybody. So, I mean, fuck him.
But I just love the fucking, just the karma that was coming for him. Because that guy got in there with the bully thing. So he set the ball rolling, but fuck. As soon as you get hold of Anonymous, they decide they want to get involved. Holy shit, they can fuck your life instantly.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, he is such an irredeemable piece of shit that normally you would say, oh, well, fuck. I mean, what they're doing it's pretty harsh. But for someone like him,
because they took his fucking passport.
They declared him dead. They declared him dead in the fucking state for...
They also sent him 200 dildos, which I thought was by far the funniest bit of the show.
And honestly, like, I wouldn't say I'm someone that wishes ill on people, but I hope that bloke is still suffering from that because he put so much of that upon other people.
And I really got tired of that shit where it would show him going, oh yeah, here I am out partying and fucking your girlfriend and all that, and I just kept thinking, you are just an absolute dick brain.
Mm.
And look at the kind of fuckwits that are hanging around with you. Like, have a good hard look at yourself if you think he's a good bloke.
Well, that's the scary thing out of the whole doco for me is that he amassed quite a following.
Yeah.
If you're looking at this bloke thinking this is something to aspire to, then the world is fucked, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Essentially. There's not many other ways to put it.
Nah, true.
So that was, again,
really
watch.
Good, really good.
From that point, other than Samaritan, there's only been one thing that's been occupying my time, and that is the Hatchet series.
Oh, the Hatchets?
Hatchets.
Have you got them on Blu-ray, DVD?
I do not.
What are they on? Streaming somewhere?
2 of them were on streaming.
Which ones? Which streaming?
I think Amazon Prime has 2 and 4.
Yeah. Where are the other 2 coming from? YouTube?
YouTube was on 1.
Okay.
Just be quiet. Just whisper.
I need to know where these are.
I hired the 3rd one for $2 on iTunes.
Okay.
Basically, I had watched the first one when it came out and thought this is crap, and didn't watch them again. And I thought to myself at the time, like, from what I'd heard, it sounds like shit that I should have been more into. And I thought to myself, maybe I was just judging it harshly, or I was, I don't know.
Were they bad?
Well, I watched the first one and I enjoyed it far more than I did the first time.
Yeah.
It's funnier. Like, it was aiming for more comedy than I probably gave it credit for the first time round. And
Sure.
I did get a few laughs out of it. It's fucking ridiculously over the top. Like, it's never aiming to be anything. I mean, it's got elements of parody for sure. Like, the kills are so fucking over the top that you can't do anything but kind of laugh at some of them. But I appreciate that it's like, we got a Jason to play something that's clearly inspired by Jason, but then throws a bit of the supernatural in. And I mean, as the series goes along, it kind of builds on that. You've got Danielle Harris in the middle two. Basically, throughout the series, Victor Crowley tussles with Freddy. He tussles with another Jason.
Yeah.
Tussles with a Michael, a Leatherface, Candyman. So they're kind of nodding to exactly the sort of shit that we love. First one I really enjoyed. Second one was a bit down. Third one, had a lot of fun with that. And the fourth one is probably somewhere in between 2 and 3.
Okay.
But overall, yeah, I had a bit of fun with it. I had much more fun and was a bit more open to it than the first time round, I guess.
Okay.
Because I hadn't watched, after not enjoying the first one, I just left it and didn't touch it until now.
Okay.
So this is the first time I've seen all the sequels, and yeah, I had some fun with it.
Okay. Excellent.
And that was it.
All right, I only watched one thing, Untold, the girlfriend who didn't exist.
Ooh, that was next on my Netflix doco venture.
Look, it was pretty poor form as to what was done. Manti, if you haven't met them in person, you're not dating.
Correct.
like that's, to me, you are not dating somebody until you have met them in person.
I get people are desperate.
And in his
But if
case,
you
he
put
wouldn't
off-
have been desperate. He was at Notre
I
Dame
know.
College. He was king shit.
Yep.
Why he thought he needed that, I don't know.
For whatever reason, that's going on. But if someone bumps off an in-person meeting 3 times at the last minute, it's a 3-strike rule for me. If you do it 3 times, I mean, I'm a suspicious person. You do it once, I think, am I being catfished?
Yeah.
Second time, I'm thinking I'm definitely being catfished.
Well, Jared, I go one step further. If I have not met you in person, we are just friends who talk over Facebook.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
But you know what I mean? Once someone brushes off in-person meetings and 6 months down the track, you're still trying to fucking pencil in a date.
Yeah.
It doesn't get to that point.
Yeah, there's something very...
I mean, if I'm chatting to someone, I mean, I'm never going to be in this situation. I don't chat to people online like that. But if I was, and I'm chatting to you, and we decide to meet in person, if that hasn't happened within a week or 2, I'm suspicious.
Yeah, agree. So, really good doco, but yeah, look, it was in 2012, I think. So maybe catfishing wasn't as big a thing. I don't know.
It wasn't quite at that point. I mean, The Rock hadn't made millions of dollars asking people for a loan and things like that.
Yeah, The Rock wasn't out there catfishing people left and right, asking for 50K.
Can I get 50 till next payday? I'm still waiting on the residuals.
Who's got a fucking spare 50 to give him too? Like, wiped out my savings. I gave it to The Rock. Shit.
I'm sorry. I can't.
Note to The Rock, though, I've only got 25k in savings, so I can't give you a 50. I could remortgage my house, I guess.
I mean, if you are convincing people that you're The Rock and you need a loan, are you a really good trickster, or is that person just a fucking idiot?
No, definitely a fucking idiot. You're talking about the most... fucking made the most money in the year, and you're saying he came to you and said he needed 50k, and you thought, this seems legit.
Passes the sniff test. I mean, the XFL's about to open, but he's probably, his money's probably tied up in Zoa, his tequila brand, and another 5 pictures.
Yeah.
So I can understand why he doesn't have.
He's not being paid in cash. He's being paid in fucking Kruger Red.
I understand why he needs 50 liquids.
Yeah, he's getting paid in gold bars. It's cash.
Unbelievable. I'm sorry.
But yeah, other than that, I watched nothing else.
Good. Excellent.
Okay, a couple of quick bits of news. Halloween Ends will actually debut in both cinemas and on Peacock same day, just like they did with Halloween Kills.
Yep.
So, obviously, Blumhouse and co have looked at it and said, well, shit, it still worked out pretty well for us.
And let's face it, they'll get the
time.
Peacock viewers, but people will still go and watch it. They'll still make money off it.
Yeah, of course.
No question.
No doubt about that. Another piece of news, just that might make you happy. Ezra Miller's had a meeting with Warner Brothers about The Flash, and I believe has apologised profusely.
Yeah.
You've had a meeting after the shit you pulled.
Yeah, had a meeting or spent fucking 4 hours getting reamed by every person in the Warner Brothers fucking executive team for destroying the DC extended universe.
Yeah. Basically, I think that's what may have happened.
Yeah,
but essentially, he has taken responsibility. Sorry, they have, I believe.
Yep.
They have taken responsibility for what has gone on recently, and I believe they are sort of reaching out in an effort to the picture's still there. They need to.
Yep.
Look, mate. Fuck. Unless your name's Armie Hammer, it can't get any worse.
I know. I mean, your career being in tatters has a way of making you apologise for things.
Only ask Kenneth Branagh about how to damage control, because fuck, he hasn't worked it out recently.
when you go from money falling out of your backside to
zero money.
You might not make another movie as The Flash. A easy
paycheck that you would have made several pictures for, and then you suddenly realise, oh shit, hang on. Well, sometimes that'll make you grovel to the studio, and so I think that's kind of what's going on here.
What are your thoughts on this, on the Warner Brothers?
I tell you what you do with regards to The Flash. You let it sit. Miller gets help that they need, and you give it 6 months to air out, and then you put it out. Just like you anticipated. Which I believe was
concerned about. I
believe it's scheduled for 2023 sometime.
Yeah.
So there's enough air there to get it to avoid some of the shit.
See, me, I'm slightly concerned about that 6 months, so I bump it up till next week. I release it next week.
Oh, fucking release it. Release it on HBO Max. No, just bug it.
But the whole Batgirl and the Scoob sequel, it's fucking weird. Because, look, I get that you're changing directions.
But you got product. You put it out. It makes something.
Many times, I mean, because I think whatever you do with Batgirl and Scoob, I mean, I think they'll probably make you more in the long run.
Correct.
Than the write-off.
Correct.
So, yeah, I don't know. I've got a suspicious feeling that they're shelving it, and when they supposedly right the ship. I mean, how many times have DC righted the ship? How many times have they attempted to right the ship? Because this is it's another attempt. And I'm not saying that all of their shit has been bad. It hasn't. But you're attempting to do it again. But I just feel like I've got a sneaking suspicion they're going to shelve it. They're going to try to right the ship, and then in a couple of years they're going to release those two things.
Oh, of course.
They're going to spend a couple of years cooking up an audience that we'll do the Zack Snyder again. Three years down the track. Oh, look,
Batgirl.
We're going to drop Batgirl. Because now that, you've got another Batman movie, you've got this or that, DC's looking whatever it's looking like, hopefully better from their standpoint. Here's the long-lost Batgirl movie, and everyone wants to see it.
But I still think you make money off it now.
Well, I think you do too.
I don't understand. I still think you make pretty good money. Is it a pile of shit? Do you think that's what it might be?
Well, I mean, I spoke to you not that long ago about that there was test scores going around, and they weren't great, but they were in line with something like It 2.
Right, so they can't have been the worst thing.
So it can't have been, just write it off. I don't get it. I don't know what's going on there.
It's silly. It's just another thing. Like, you've got these products ready.
Yeah.
You make nothing out of them if you sit on them. Okay?
Well, I want to
3 years down the track, you give me the Zack Snyder cut type of thing.
Yeah.
You might make something on it, but you might also make nothing because the window's closed on it. The Scoob one makes less sense because,
I mean, the first one wasn't that great.
So why is there even a sequel in the mix?
Because there's an inbuilt audience that you're going to make some cash off.
So chuck it out.
Exactly.
Who gives a fuck? And the
the
budget was like 40 million, I think, or 35 million. So really, your break-even point's pretty low.
That one was even more baffling to me because, I mean, fuck, how many shit kids movies have made bank?
Plenty.
Yeah, exactly.
Plenty. I just don't get it. And if they tell me one more time they're going to right the ship, it's almost like these people, they come in, they go, we can't put all this out because we didn't make it. What the fuck are you on about? It is part of your current slate.
I mean,
so
I release it, and if it makes bank, I say, I always had faith in it, and if it tanks, I go, that's the last product of the previous board.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll be making our own.
Exactly. You take no responsibility for the shit, but it's part of your slate of films, so put it out.
Yeah.
Makes no sense to sit on it.
Yeah, I think they should have just...
And in fact, with Batgirl, you're shitting all over the people who made it.
Yeah. And you've got the two filmmakers that were responsible for a pretty well-received Bad Boys movie.
Yeah, very well.
And had just come off Miss Marvel, that's been pretty well-received as well.
Yeah.
Like, I can't understand why you just can it. And that's the reason I'm thinking... Obviously, they want to make some changes, but I think their long-term intention is still to release the movie.
Yeah. But I don't think it's a good idea to wait that long.
No.
If you're going to go down that road. My thinking is you put Batgirl in the cinemas, you put Scoob on streaming somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that Keaton's Batman is in it is enough.
So what you're saying here is you've just had Michael Keaton do the first time he's been in the Batman suit since Batman Returns. A big deal to the comic book people out there.
Yep.
And yet you then can the film entirely.
Yeah. Thanks, Ezra. Fucking hell.
It doesn't make any sense.
No, I think so. I don't know.
Michael Keaton doesn't give a fuck.
No, fuck.
He's off to other projects. He doesn't care.
That's right. He's career renaissance. He's just kind of,
Yeah. He just moves on. But
just drop it. Just give it.
You know what, though? He would have been your selling point, wouldn't he?
Exactly. Well, if
we talked about this a couple of episodes ago, you use him to spruik the fucking product.
If the Flash comes out and his appearance is well received, I don't know all the details, but I thought he had a kind of was going to be possibly in a bigger part for the Batgirl one.
Mm.
So obviously you're still relying on the Flash a little bit, but that Keaton Batman is going to get you some goodwill anyway.
Correct. It's a head scratcher, that one.
Yeah.
Real head scratcher. All right. Let's take a break. Here's the trailer for 2022's Samaritan.
Wait up! What are you doing with all this junk? Keeps me busy.
Another long night of crime and violence.
Some say it's only a matter of time before the city implodes.
I think we're finished here. Go on, beat it.
I found him. Samaritan.
Samaritan died 25 years ago.
That's what they say.
You think you live across from a superhero? Do you have a therapist, kid?
Good. Samaritan's dead. I pick up garbage for a living, pal.
Samaritan cleaned up the streets.
You mind your business, I'll mind mine.
I don't believe you! Are you okay?
I'm cool.
How strong are you?
Not as strong as I once was. Things start to fall apart when you stop caring. And I stopped caring a long time ago.
How come you hate who you are?
For some people, it's too late to change the damage they've done.
He's hiding something. I want him dead.
Really?
The things you buried tend to haunt you.
Why did you disappear?
Hey, old man! Try this. Come on!
Samaritan from 2022, directed by Julius Avery, who directed Overlord, produced by Sylvester Stallone and Braden Altagood, who produced Nobody, and it's written by Bragi F. Shute, who wrote Escape Room, and I believe he wrote the graphic novel that this is based on. This is a graphic novel from 2014. It stars Sylvester Stallone as Joe, Javon Walton as Sam Cleary, Pilu Asbeck as Cyrus, and Dasha Polanco as Tiffany Cleary. The budget was unknown. I couldn't find any information about how much it cost. I'm guessing it's probably in the 30 to 40 million range. And it's going direct to Amazon Prime. Now, there wasn't a lot of trivia for this thing, Jared, but the film is inspired by Unbreakable and Finding Forrester. So it's kind of a mixture of the two of them.
Which sounds great in theory.
Yeah. Not to spoil my thing, but this couldn't wipe Unbreakable's ass. There is absolutely no correlation between those
so Snake Eyes then?
No chance. All right, Jared, I'm going to go first here. Look, it's just an average kind of stripped back superhero type of film that it actually doesn't have. It's reasonably well acted and pretty well made.
Yep.
But it fails to fully embrace the potential of what it was putting forward. The idea of the superhero hiding in the neighbourhood, dormant for 20 years, and all that kind of stuff is an interesting kind of dynamic to have.
It is, yeah.
There's a couple of decent action scenes in there, and at least an attempt to kind of throw a twist. Whether it's successful is very questionable, but it's just not enough to make up for the fact that it's kind of run of the mill. It's just run of the mill.
Yep.
2 out of 5.
Yep.
For me.
Yeah, I was exactly the same too. Obviously, we'll get into some spoilers later, but it's just a bunch of pretty solid ideas and throws some things out there that could have been really awesome to explore. Doesn't bother do anything but scratch any of them.
No.
Just by the end of the film, none of them are really explored. And it's a shame because, as I said to you, we had reason to be excited about this idea of a superhero, an old superhero who's not what he used to be and is as you said, just the fucking elevator pitch of Unbreakable and meets Finding Forrester. It sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah. Because
no one's really done it well. The best I can think of is Logan.
Yeah.
And when you do Logan was fucking awesome, but there's some places you can't go because Marvel's not gonna take the piss out of one of its prestige characters. It's not gonna bring all that much humour to it or any of that sort of shit. This could have, and it didn't go any of. It played the straight bat. Even then, you could have gone to some places that you didn't go. So even though I was at a 2 out of 5, I was immensely disappointed when I was watching it.
Yeah.
And it's a real shame because it does, as you said, it does attempt to throw. It's reasonably well acted and well made, and does attempt to throw a twist in there that, had it been a little bit better done, would have been all right to go with. But is so badly telegraphed that texted you in the first 10 minutes of the movie with two things that I thought were possibilities, and that was one of them.
Yeah.
So,
My wife turned to me 5 minutes into the movie
yeah,
and said exactly what it was.
Yep.
Right then and there.
Yep.
And
it was pretty much the
it was impossible.
It was the
not to.
open.
Yeah,
right?
it was telegraphed within seconds of being out there.
Yep.
Looking at this in comparison to something like Unbreakable, even if you went slightly down some of Unbreakable's paths, I mean, looking at the two of them side by side, Unbreakable is so dense. You know, all these interesting ideas about how David Dunn could have been something awesome, but he wasn't, but yet he was a superhero,
Yeah.
you know.
Well,
all that whole thing about that, him being hurt,
Yeah.
Lying about being injured, not being able to play football, you know, and I believe Maddie sort of brought it up in the Unbreakable episode, was about, you know, how he was kind of like this downtrodden sort of character who could have been something, could have been big man on campus, but it didn't work out.
Yeah.
Yet he was important.
Yeah. So the thing for me is Unbreakable it looked at what would happen if a guy had some of these abilities in a real world context, but also had some of that shit, like, you know, a little bit of anxiety and shit like that. And they actually talk about that in this. And okay, I get that you may not want to go the same route. It's not as grounded in realism, this one. But you still could have looked at that stuff. You still could have looked at it in a context that wasn't necessarily realistic.
Yeah. Agreed.
It's fair to say I was
disappointed.
A little bit disappointed in what I was seeing.
Okay. Wasn't cutting together?
No. Well, you know, Sly's done this. He did it with Rocky and Balboa and Creed. So I thought maybe he's the man to do this with the superhero genre, but I'm still waiting.
No.
You know, still waiting. Hancock, no.
No.
Samaritan, no. Like, still waiting.
All right, likes. I kept mine very much on the higher surface because I didn't take notes at the time. So looking back on it, the idea of the young boy finding this believed to be dead superhero living amongst him in the neighbourhood in sort of peace and quiet, it's good.
It is.
It has potential and could have been mined.
And especially because the kid wouldn't have been alive at the time.
Yeah.
So he's basing it on this legend. And there was there was the point where he goes into the bookstore with what's his name? Fellow with the glasses that's in Spider-Man, and
I can't remember who he is.
What's his name? Star, isn't it? Anyway, that stuff was solid.
Yeah,
you could have worked with that to go with
and the whole idea that he'd seen a few other people that he thought might have been him.
Yeah.
That was all that sort of stuff.
And the fact that it's convenient that he lives in the same building and stuff like that. Well, that plays into it because, as you said, he's like, oh, so this is the same as when you told me it was this guy or that guy or whatever. That would have worked perfectly fine and did work reasonably well at times.
Yeah, exactly. So that idea has legs.
Yeah.
And I think for a little bit they managed to do a little, they managed to get a bit out of that.
Yes.
Performances, not bad.
Yeah, pretty good.
Like Stallone's sleepwalking, but he can do that world-weary shit in his sleep.
Yeah, and it's just the material isn't as strong as something like... I was just begging for, when he's talking in Balboa about having a little something left in
the tank,
and
something else in the basement.
Like, I was just begging for that to happen, but he's delivering what he can. The kid's not bad.
Yeah.
Pillau Asbeck is...
Pilau's fine, it's just that...
He's got a couple of dud moments.
His villain role is like a thug. Like, he's just a henchman.
Yep.
And that's where some of my dislikes come in about just their whole fucking ethos.
Yeah, we'll dig into that.
Bullshit. Like,
we'll dig into the weeds because there's a few weeds to pull in this one, but...
The sequence where Joe gets hit by the car.
Yes.
And then pulls himself back together with the broken bones, and then he has to stand in the shower and he's eating the ice cream and everything. That was the best sequence in the film. That kind of at least kind of touched on what he was capable of.
The getting hit by the car is one of those things where it's almost the go-to for the unexpected kind of moment. And it fits perfectly here because, you're waiting for him. He's he's professing, I'm not that guy, I'm not this, then bang, gets hit by the car. Well, yes, you are. Like, but it worked. Like, you know, I was half expecting, as soon as he started walking across the street, you're like, oh, okay.
And I did like, are you all right? Fuck no.
Yeah, that was good.
I thought that was pretty funny.
But it also continued because it was that fucking little Weasley dude that was running over him in the car. It kind of continued the progression of his character just being just an absolute scum.
Who then sees him later and he's like, I fucking saw him and ran him over.
Yeah.
He's still alive.
Those parts of it I was happy enough with.
Yeah. The fight in the alley, where he punches out all the goons and then he uses the car to protect the little girl.
Yeah.
Pulls it over. That was not a bad little fight scene.
Yep.
And using the car and being filmed sort of brings him back into the consciousness of the public. And I thought that was a cool way to do that.
Yep.
So that was solid.
Yeah, that was good. I think there was a moment before that, and this is where I talk about it. It really frustrated me because I think they're sitting on the bus at this point, or it was something like that. They're chatting away, and it's in the dialogue where they start scratching the surface of this good stuff. You know, Stallone starts talking about I like being alone. You know, I like being by myself. And I just thought, fuck, why can't we mind this? Why can't we talk about the hero that turned his back on it because... And, you know, obviously when we get to the twist, that comes into this, but it still would have worked about exploring that he just wants to be on his own.
Yeah.
Okay, he's got these abilities or whatever, but the guy's an anxious person and doesn't want to be in crowds or doesn't like fucking people fucking digging into his private time. Like, this is what I wanted to see, and it never got past chatting about it a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wanted to see some of that. Like, put him in a situation that makes him fucking very uncomfortable or
vulnerable.
Yeah, like...
that situation as to more than that he just gave up because he supposedly died.
Yeah.
That he couldn't.
Yeah, so the big question, the big thing that this film never asks is why? Why do you walk away from something like that?
Yeah.
Why?
You supposedly died.
I mean,
yeah, okay, but why did you then go into hiding? What?
Correct. And the twist kind of undermines it a little bit because they're constantly talking about it from the side of you did so much good. Why did you walk away? But you can still dig into it. You can still come up with something there. I just feel like there was. If they had have just explored it a little bit. And
they just didn't feel... It almost felt like that was just secondary. So let's not worry too much about that.
Yeah. No, not talking about... You know, he never once talks about the fucking mental toll of... You know, I've seen it kind of explored in things like Batman of you can save this many people but you lose one and it fucks you up or something.
But
like
also,
that.
Look at something like hero worship.
Yes.
Everybody wants a piece of you. Everyone wants to pat you on the back.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you're somebody who's got anxiety or something, you cannot deal with it.
You can't go down the street and grab a fucking coffee or something like that.
So you fake your own death in an effort to get away from it. Like, these are interesting ideas to mine a little bit.
Yeah.
And they're different from the classic superhero ethos, which is I'm a hero, so it never affects me. I'm never mentally affected by any of this.
Well, when is a film going to say, you know, when is a film just going to take with great power comes great responsibility, but look at it from the fucking side of the person who doesn't want the responsibility?
Yeah.
Like,
I've been tossed into this.
That's all I'm asking. Yeah. It's just, you know, it's a fucking mental toll. Like, so there's just so much. Like, it would have taken just a couple of scenes to make me a little bit happier with that. Maybe drag an extra half star out of me just for exploring it in some way other than just saying a little line about it.
Yeah.
I was just, it was in my likes, but I was just, when it finished up and I didn't get any more of that, I was upset.
Yeah. And the last one for me was the two action scenes that kind of make up the finale, where he kind of bashes and belts his way through the heap of people in the apartment block.
Yeah.
And then he heads to the villain's lair and there's a massive blue and everything. All that stuff's handled pretty well. Like, it's okay. Yeah. It's passable without being magnificent.
Yeah, points of it.
it's what I expected from this. It's kind of what I kind of went towards once I realised they weren't going to go any deeper.
Yeah.
When I realised, well, fuck, I kind of had a bit of fun with the finale because I was kind of like, well, it's obviously not going anywhere with this that's not going to be standard.
Yeah.
And I was exactly right. You know, it was fucking standard.
Yeah.
Well, it was,
pretty standard.
let's be honest, it was extremely standard.
I wasn't even that. I mean, the apartment block one, yeah, I was okay with that, but the one at the end, I think I was done by then. I think I'd also come to that same conclusion that we're not getting any more than this. I was wallowing by that point.
You were 1.5 in it.
Yeah, pretty much.
You got any other likes there?
Yeah. The part when he jumps in the elevator and they shut the door. And you don't see any of what he does.
It's just bang, 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 bang. Yeah,
like, when in a Stallone movie have we had him just kind of like, they're going to leave it to our imagination? That was cool. I really liked that.
Mm.
And, you know, talking about the twist, going into the spoilers, I mean, it was so predictable from the open that he was actually Nemesis and he wasn't Samaritan.
Yeah.
But I don't think the idea is such a bad one.
No.
And if they hadn't have made it pretty obvious with a few lines and things like that, it would have been.
It would have actually had a little bit of punch.
Reasonably solid twist.
Yeah.
Again, it's just caught up in a bunch of really solid ideas that don't get explored all that well.
Mm.
But the idea of it, even when I picked it, I thought, oh fuck, that's not a bad way to go.
No, correct. It's not the worst thing they could have done.
Yeah.
But it's so telegraphed.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I mean, have you got any more likes? Is that it?
Initially I was right back at the start of the film, I didn't mind how they were kind of putting the kid on the path of meeting the villain. Basically, you know, just kind of making it just survival.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty. Again, it's not anything we haven't seen before, but I didn't mind the fact that he started out just, you know, you're going to throw us a distraction to get this, and
it's like, here's the $100. Here's $100 for tonight, but here's a couple of hundred. This is what you're going to do for me later.
From that point, it gets a little bit worse, and there's a little bit. I'm a little bit murky on how it keeps going back and forth. But anyway, that point I was all right. But that's the end of my likes.
Okay, straight into the dislikes. As far as telegraphing things, that opening sequence is dog shit. Like you needed to do something better with that. Ambiguity. Like, there was no ambiguity, and
no,
just the way it was shot too, in that
the
kind
style,
of
trying to replicate it with the
rotoscoped type of it was crap. It looked terrible.
I didn't like it at all.
Like,
Not to mention the costumes are fucking awful. I saw one review that compared it to Steel. Shaquille O'Neal. Yeah, they're not far wrong from that.
Well,
but I mean, you know,
another dislike. The sledgehammer.
Yeah,
it's just not a good weapon.
No, it's very. I don't know.
It's cumbersome, Jared.
They're just trying to go gritty, but they end up with this bloody dull costumes, dull colours, dull style. Like, and the issue is, the rest of the film doesn't. It's not realistic in the fucking slightest. I get the grimy tone of the city.
It looks like fucking somewhere Mad Max would hang out.
Yeah, that's right. And I just, you know, take it back to real simple stuff. But when everything's so fucking grimy and dull and whatever, you got to at least get a bit of colour or style in Samaritan's costume to show that he's, you know, really simple. The fucking ray of light in a scummy
universe. But even the universe itself, Granite City, it's just a cesspool. Like, it was so over the top. Yes.
Yeah, it was.
Everything was so over the top. It was the worst place in the world.
Well, I felt like they would have been better off, because I kept getting, you know, you saw the RoboCop arcade machine at one point.
Yeah, I know.
I kept getting hints of RoboCop, but I was like, if that's what it is, go all out and just show that it's just a fucking cesspool. Like, because that's what it looked like, but you never really went there. So I don't know whether that's what...
You ever see RoboCop? RoboCop was a cesspool on the street.
Yes.
But then they juxtaposed it with big business.
But isn't that essentially what they go for?
Yeah, kind of.
They're not juxtaposing it, but they're showing that these people have been left behind.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I mean. RoboCop was a bit more nuanced in that whole big business OCP sort of
The
stuff.
subtleties and the nuance.
The
Not
subtleties
really.
and the nuances. This was just, well, it was a cesspool, and then the fucking villains are all cesspools. Yeah, they were all scumbags, whereas in RoboCop, the villains were the high-powered money men in the end, at the end of the day.
Yes. I understand that, but I don't understand why you go with the overly... I mean, everything was fucking grey. Everything was grey.
I mean, the whole area looked like the place where Stallone worked. Hoiking garbage around.
And I'm sorry, I couldn't stop giggling when he brings the garbage truck out and it says City of Granite City. I was just like... I don't know why that made me laugh. I get that it's Granite City, but just I kept giggling.
Why didn't you just say Granite City?
just chuck Granite City on the side.
But also, you know...
you got to give me a little bit of fucking...
colour.
Give me some shades to your storytelling. Don't just... Everything was just grey and
give me some
grimy.
fucking colour shades in your palette. Because I couldn't...
Yeah.
Everything was grey.
Yes.
And also, I was kind of a little bit... Hasn't Stallone been down the route of, you know, guy who picks up electronic items and remakes them? Like hasn't he done that in a couple of other films? Like he has.
Yes.
He has. He's used it in a lot of other films where he's kind of like a jack of all trades with regards to with his hands and shit. Why did we need that? We didn't need it.
Well, it was all building up to the watch, which then
Had
was
no
fucking lost anyway.
It had no bearing on
it. Was lost in the ending, which was just a collision of all his half-baked ideas, just fucking coming out of the oven, still not fully cooked.
It was a cake that was sort of... the middle of it was...
I think it was... What I likened it to, Adam, is you making a risotto.
There was no water.
You forgot to put the water in.
Not once, but twice.
You came back to the pot, and then you said, "Oh shit, there's no water in this. It's just crunchy rice now." So you tossed it in the bin, and then you came out with your second idea, which was another risotto, which you also forgot to put the water in. And by the end of it, you had a fucking shit meal.
Yeah, I do like the fact that my mum said, "What happened to all the rice?"
What did you say? Oh,
I don't know.
Yeah.
And then fled the scene.
You pulled out the same defence that you tried to cover up your car accident with. What happened to your car? I don't know.
I think
Talk about nuance.
I think Mum knew something was up when she took the bin out and it went. It was fucking 10 kilos heavy.
Yeah. She took the bin out and it sounded like a 10-kilo maracas. It sounded like she was backing up Lady Smith Black Mombasa or something like that.
Exactly. Oh, shit. All right, sorry. They never really, apart from him getting hit by the car, they never really cover off on his powers or how he became super.
Or,
like, they give very limited information about most of that.
Again, they talk about, how many cars could you jump in your prime? 10. I could probably do 9 now. Well, fucking show us that in a scene. Or show us...
Well, they kind of use it near the end, don't they, where he jumps from one building to the next.
But that doesn't show us shit.
I know.
As I said to you, by the end of the movie, rather than exploring what happens to a fucking aging superhero, it's just old hero being hero again, or old, going to the twist. It's old villain choosing to be hero again, which again isn't all that fucking revolutionary. How many times do the heroes and villains switch over? It's the fucking WWF, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
WWE, sorry.
I mean, how many times have we seen the fucking gobbledygook again?
Yeah. How many times does fucking Dr. Isaac yank him DDS, turn into Kane and go from, hero to villain?
Holy shit.
Well, how often does Hollywood Hogan come back as Mr. America?
Yeah, not to put a finer point on it, how many times has Vince McMahon hit the ring?
Brilliant.
Or both have.
Career highlight. I think it was both quads.
Let me tell you something, mate. Be careful. Don't sneeze near the bloke.
Yeah, don't see. Well, how many times has Vince McMahon come down to the ring with a turn in his pants and request that you only shoot him from the waist up?
It's a prick. Oh.
No, it's just... Yeah,
It's just there's no details about how he became who he became.
But
there's no details about what he does.
You show us what
his strengths are and his weaknesses. Because that's again coming back to Unbreakable, the whole thing of he has a weakness.
Yeah,
which is water. And then that comes into play, later when he tries to help out.
Yeah.
This has none of that. There is no weakness that he has.
Well, they kind of go into it, but there's never an exploration of... I mean, what he talks about as what he has to do when he's digging into the ice cream and shit, from the explanation you gave us, that's the same shit you had to do when you were in your prime. There's no...
Yeah, so has it changed now that you're older?
There's no... Yeah, there's no...
No, it hasn't.
No, they didn't... We only see it here. We don't get any... kind of illustration of what are you dealing with as a fucking 75-year-old superhero?
Fucking what, rheumatoid arthritis? Is that being added? What are your weaknesses?
Well, when you go to, I'm begging for a scene when he goes to jump from building to building, and they go to the other building and here's him crumpled in a heap saying, "I tore my ACL" or something like that.
Yeah.
This is what we need, something like that.
Exactly. And I think my wife brought this up. There was no... If he's a superhero, why is he aging?
Well...
Like, if he's superhuman, why is he aging?
Well, this is the thing. I mean, I can go with that. I can go with...
So, but explain it.
Powers.
Explain us
exactly.
that I don't... It doesn't
explain
stop me from getting... I can't get younger. I continue to get older.
Yeah,
like any
that's
normal
right.
person.
You continue to age. You're still going through the aging process. You still got your powers, but shit, fucking... It's just... It's like... You're trying to compare it to the real aging process or the real... as I keep going back to, Sly did it beautifully with the fucking aging athlete, with Rocky. Well, maybe not Rocky 5, but Balboa and Creed. That's what I wanted to see some of that in this. And yeah, that's you didn't tell us what it entailed or what had changed. You didn't illustrate any.
You really didn't bother to tell us what kind of superhero he was.
No.
And what his capabilities were. And when you don't do that, you don't set a box for him to be in. You also don't tell us what the stakes might be.
Yeah.
So when's he going to come up against something that's like Superman with kryptonite?
Yeah.
When's he going to come up against this?
Yeah, well, they give us a little bit of that with the fucking
hammer,
heat and
yeah,
hammer
but
and
fuck
shit.
the hammer. Like, the
fucked.
hammer was bullshit.
Yeah,
like,
the
that
hammer
whole
was bullshit.
thing was bullshit.
Yep.
And then, as I said to you before, the idea that the bad guys are bringing chaos and anarchy, like some like Nemesis had.
Yeah.
But it kind of was no different because the place was a shit show anyway.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, that ties into my biggest dislike with Pilar Asbeck. The scene of his first speech when he jumps on top of the car and puts the Nemesis mask on and all that sort of stuff is so overdone.
Yes.
And the acting, like he's doing a lot of hand work because he's got a mask on. I mean, you don't even know if it's him under the mask. It may not be him, but it is awful.
Yeah.
Absolutely awful. And that crowd goes from... We're just, we're in the streets of the slummy part of town or whatever, to fucking chanting for this bloke and basically ready to tear the city down in just like this. They don't show any single person thinking, oh, fuck, I don't know about this, I'm not going along with it. They just show this crowd of people fucking chanting.
Yeah,
and
it's crap.
It's too much.
Because,
it's just bullshit.
But also they don't really dish out much anarchy.
No, they don't.
Like, they have those bombs.
Well, they don't show the situation, as you said, they don't show the situation getting worse throughout the movie. They just, a couple of news reports.
Because the place looked like it was bad all the time.
It looked like it was bad from the get-go. Oh, there's news reports of the looting. Well, we didn't see any of it. We didn't see any of that shit. So, yeah, I was a little bit upset there.
All right. The big one for me was the twist.
Yep.
It just hung out there like a fucking Jats cracker popping out of your trunks. It kind of hung out there for minute one.
Yes.
And the fact that I said my wife turned to me within 5 minutes.
Yep.
And in fact, I think it was just after the opening spiel.
It was a cold open when I was like, is this where they're going to go?
And my wife just says, oh, he's Nemesis.
Yeah.
He's not Samaritan, he's Nemesis. And I was like, okay. Yeah, like I started thinking to myself, well, yeah.
Well,
because they're twins.
As soon as the idea was in your head, yeah, they put it up front very quickly that they were twins. But as soon as the idea was in your head, he kept dropping lines and little things that were being said.
And he never kind of committed to being a good guy. When the kid kept asking him, he never sort of committed and sort of said, yes, I did this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
He always sort of tried to weave around it. And it just gave it away straight away.
Yes.
And that just undercut everything.
It undercut the whole movie. Personally, I think they shouldn't have had the open.
Yeah,
we
should have got little drip
story
feeds from the guy in the bookstore
from the kid asking him questions, and then slip a couple of the flashback. Like they keep going back with a little bit of flashback, but the cold open just
blew it.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you could go back and cut that out, if you cut that out and watch the movie again, I think you'd be in a better place.
It doesn't plant the seed as early. I reckon you probably would have got there. You possibly would have got there anyway, but definitely not. It wouldn't have put in your mind straight away, oh, here's the possibility.
Yeah.
Don't even tell us till fucking 15 minutes in or 20 minutes in that he fought his brother.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Because,
slowly weave a bit of that in. Don't give it to us straight away, because when you gave it to us straight away, it went dead to shit immediately.
Absolutely.
I've kind of hit the end for me. We spoke about the sledgehammer. We spoke about the stakes. There were no stakes.
I've got a 5 or 6 more to
go. Hit me.
Okay, getting into specifics, and again, I mean, I like to talk about some of this stuff that doesn't really matter in the scheme of things.
Yeah.
But this is another one where it's just a little bit of, you watch it and you think, oh, don't know if that passes the smell test. What sort of fucking city police setup allows anyone just to walk to the evidence counter?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, surely there's a level of security before that.
You would think so.
Gentlemen, can I see your badges at the door?
Yeah. Hang on. There's a uniform policy. You've got a fucking beard that's hanging down here, and you've got hair everywhere, and you've got tattoos all over you. Shit. You're possibly not a cop.
Yeah, that's right. Not only that, but I felt it would have been an opportunity to show. I mean, I may still not have been on board with the sledgehammer, but if it is a situation where you fucking busted your way into the evidence counter and there's some sort of, I mean, there was no alarm. There was nothing. They cleared out of that joint. There was one bloke in charge of what seemed to be a whole building that contained all of the city's police evidence.
If there'd been a shootout or
there's
something.
An alarm or something that goes off and shit, the evidence room, bang. You immediately show us the power of this fucking weapon that you've got on the way out. But it seemed like the weapon only applied to him. Only applied to Nemesis/Samaritan, with an absolutely, talking about the gobbledygooker, the fucking explanation for that thing was gobbledygook. Why could it only hurt those two? Oh, it was fueled by hate. Okay, I need a bit more than that.
Yeah, fellas. Can we have a couple of extra sides on this? Because I need to know.
So my first question is, for the average person, does it just connect like a normal sledgehammer?
Yeah.
And even then, Pilar's going to have some trouble wielding that shit.
I mean, it's the most clunky of weapons. I would like mini sledgehammers, so you got a little bit
speed.
More. Yeah.
I need to work with some fucking pepper on this. But anyway, so that was one of them for me. Again, small detail. Sly calling the kid an asshole.
Unnecessary.
Yeah, I want to see you working with vulnerable people, cuz.
Yeah.
This is where the reason I singled
No
that
wonder
out-
you're fucking chucking garbage around, bro, because I don't think you're working with children.
Yeah, he's definitely not a fucking counsellor or something in
No.
local high school. But the reason I single that out is because it was the prime example of why run with a bit of fucking humour.
Yeah.
If you hadn't have been so self-serious, Sly getting upset and calling the kid an asshole, I could have chuckled along with it. But at that point, it just seemed fucking mean-spirited and reinforced to me that this is the villain, not the hero.
Yeah. He didn't come across as a hero.
Yeah. And I think if you had have injected a little bit of humour, a little bit of this is what an older hero looks like with some fucking, I don't know, he's got to put a bit of deep heat on before he gets into a punch-up.
You see him come back from a fucking operation and he gets into a bath full of radar.
Exactly. Get the old fucking horse steroids out or something. Like.
Yeah.
I think that would have...
I mean, admittedly, I was getting in the Radox bath when I was 25. Sly needs to get into a fucking bath full of horse chill.
I mean, can you not tell me, though, you wouldn't have fucking laughed if the kid rocks up to his apartment and hears Sly on the foam roller after getting into a pool or something?
Yeah,
that shit would have worked. And so then, if that happens, he calls the kid an asshole. I take it as a bit of a gag. I don't even think about,
yeah,
the twist.
The twist, yeah.
So that was a bit off for me. The kid, and again, not the acting performance, but the writing, the kid goes far too easily from fucking... He oscillates between Samaritan and the crooks a couple of times.
Yeah, true. He kind of... And I guess they were trying to sort of have this whole idea that he might turn to the darkness.
Correct. But I guess I thought...
But once you've found out that the hero you've been chasing for 20... Like, since you were a kid... Don't you align yourself with him?
Well, the first one I was okay with because I thought, all right, he's got a suspicion, but he comes home, the eviction notice is on the door.
Yeah.
I need some fast cash to bail mum out.
Yep, fair enough. I see why he does that.
Okay, so he does something that's on the low end. He could talk himself into that. I'm not hurting anyone. I'm just a distraction. No one's getting hurt. They're pinching something. But then when he confirms it and gets a little bit of a fucking tongue lashing from Sly to piss off out of his apartment or whatever, he immediately goes back into it. And I just think, I feel like if he was so enamoured with this whole fucking idea, it would have taken him a little bit more to go back and forth.
Yeah, agree.
So I was a bit annoyed with that. Not to mention the mum. She was a pain in the ass for the whole movie. I'm sorry. I didn't get on board with mum at all.
Yeah.
I mean, she fucking gets stuck into Sly when he comes to the hospital. Remember, 1 minute she's saying, please don't tell, give my kid a chance because he's a good kid. He's made a mistake by breaking into your apartment. Give him a chance. Sly gives him a chance. Next thing you know, she's fucking telling him it's his fault that he got beat up by these kids. What the fuck were you doing? Well, I'm a 75-year-old man with a fucking job for starters.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was...
I got toasters to crush.
That's right. I got radios to fix.
Shit.
The film meanders way too much in the middle.
Yeah.
There's so many ideas, but none of them progress, and we just kind of go back to Cyrus.
Does it feel like a sort of like a first draft?
It does a little bit, which
it's only been on the slate since 2020.
Well, that's right, but it kind of shocks me that it was the comic book first. Because you've done your drafts, you've written your comic book.
You then just sort of pare that down.
Now you just go onto the screen and you go through it. But yeah, it's okay. Another one about the Nemesis and Samaritan thing. We make a fucking song and dance in the flashback about taking Stallone's mask off and showing that it's young Stallone's face. We've been told multiple times they're identical twins. So
exactly. They should look the same.
So, I mean, I half expected both of them to tear their mask off.
I love the fact that he looked like fucking Stallone from Nighthawks. Yeah, so I'm not sure about the de-aging stuff.
Yeah, I don't know how it was done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we'd been told at least twice that they were identical twins, so fuck.
Why is that a fucking big deal? Yeah, exactly.
The other thing about the ending is Cyrus has you know, talking about how Nemesis was his hero and he's carrying on his work for the whole time, but then when he finds out that Joe is actually Nemesis, he has no fucking qualms or doubts about continuing with the plan exactly as
scripted.
as he laid out.
Wouldn't you think? I was expecting him to kind of try and get him on board.
Exactly. Well,
But
that's
that
the
didn't
thing.
seem
I
to come about
expected
at all.
his plan to continue along,
Yeah.
but a moment of doubt or we stop fighting,
Yep.
and I fucking tell you
Yeah.
why this is what you represented, and Sly tells me why it's not, or whatever.
Yeah.
But all this was lost in, why Nemesis decided to stop being Nemesis.
A collision of half-baked
as I
ideas.
said,
you
a
dumb.
collision of fucking risottos with no waters. We ended up with one massive shit risotto. So it's just, it's yeah. I was. It was just another fucking just a minor frustration.
Another nail in the coffin.
Another nail in the coffin. Yeah. The fight at the end. Okay, admittedly, Joe's taken some punishment. Yeah. He's slightly weakened, but Cyrus fucking takes hits from the hammer pretty comfortably. It's still a sledgehammer. It's still being wielded by a Superman. Superman with a little whiff of kryptonite.
Yeah, but you know what though? Again, because we had no information about Joe's powers, when he's being shot at close range and shit like that, we're not seeing how it might affect him. Like,
well, okay, so I'll put
he
it to you
shakes
this
a
way.
bit of that shit off.
I'll put it to you this way, because I had to fucking fill in the gaps myself. A fully powered 75-year-old Joe has no trouble flipping a car on its side.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm thinking at 10% capacity, he's still getting that shit off the ground.
Yeah.
He's still going, and the wheels go off the ground and then back. So if you're swinging a sledgehammer with that power, it's still going to fucking hurt.
Yeah, correct. So it's going to do some damage.
I don't know. Maybe I was just, again, I'm filling the gaps in myself.
And I think when you're finishing up your discussions about it and saying that we had to fill in the gaps, that's a massive problem. Like that tells you your script did not do its due diligence to explain what the powers and weaknesses of this particular superhuman were.
Yeah. What can you do? What can't you do?
And what's going to put you in the shit when you're up against 40 guys with guns.
And this is why you needed to.
And in fact, at one point he says, how many people did you take on? 100.
Yeah.
So fuck, this group of cronies of about 40 of them, you should cut a swath through them.
But you've just fucking illustrated the problem right there. Moments before that, he is being shot with multiple guns at the same time and walking through them. This is after or during when he's involved in the fight with the fucking sledgehammer.
Yeah.
So, how come Cyrus can fucking take hits with the sledgehammer?
I don't know. Again, it's just no explanation for any of it.
No, that's right. And
so how do you expect people to buy into it?
I then go back to, you told us, I used to be able to leap 10 cars, now I could leap 9. You needed to show us, and you needed to show us where your powers fucking extended to and where they didn't.
Exactly.
So they had all that time to do that and didn't, and then the resulting fucking... This is why the finale left me cold in the midst of a fucking flaming building. I was the heart of ice.
Yes.
So that's probably the end of my dislikes, but I'm going to ask you a question.
Uh-huh.
What do you think about the idea of this? I kept thinking about this. Should they have played with pushing Joe against his will into the role of Samaritan publicly early?
Yeah, I think that would have been an interesting wrinkle because he is playing the character of Samaritan even though he wasn't Samaritan.
Because then that's right. He has to fucking cope with I'm in the spotlight. I didn't want to be. This kid's fucking throwing me out there.
And by all intents and purposes, prior to going underground, I was a villain.
It gives him a reason to be lying about it too.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to fucking... He doesn't want
people to believe that he is... Yeah, he is
doesn't
Samaritan.
want people to believe he's Samaritan, but he also doesn't want to go out and just out and out tell everyone, I'm not Samaritan, I'm Nemesis.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to disappoint the kid.
Yeah.
I just felt like there was a few more reasons, and you play with the anxiety of it all and the fucking issues with being out in the midst of something that you may not want to be.
So looking at this at a glance, is you just know why they chose not to do that stuff. It's because that their eye was just not on furthering the superhero genre, digging into the superhero genre, like something like Logan did.
Yeah.
Which was to look at an older, aging superhero with very little left to give.
Yeah. Finding a reason
to do it. Yeah.
Well,
and Logan did it fantastically.
Yeah, and it's... I come back to, the problem is that this is just... We have an old hero, we have a twist, and we just go with that, and we make a standard actioner.
Yeah. And I think, unfortunately,
Huge
it felt like Stallone in the 90s.
It did, yeah.
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 Kind of standard stuff that he was trading upon.
Feel like Nighthawk?
Nighthawks was early 80s. No, it felt like your Demolition Man.
I don't know why, I just got Nighthawks vibes somewhere.
Well, maybe it's because fucking his alter ego from Nighthawks was young Stallone. No, it felt like Demolition Man.
Did the guy in Nighthawks have a fucking identical twin as well?
No, he didn't. His partner was Billy D. Williams. I believe he dresses in drag at one point. Sorry, don't remember Nighthawks very well. But we also had Rutger Hauer in it, so shit.
I think we need to put it on the schedule.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, it's a good movie, allegedly. But it just felt like, something from Stallone's 90s catalogue.
Yeah.
Judge Dredd, Demolition Man.
Could have done with a helping of Amanda Sante.
Oh, of course. But you know what I mean? Like, that kind of standard shit where I felt like there was more to mine here and we could have gone in a lot more directions, but we just didn't do it.
I guess that's, I might be being harsh by just, talking about what I wish it was, but it's just, again...
Maybe it's the action crowd.
Sly had done it for us. Sly had taken Rocky, who was... Rocky 3 was the height of that fucking macho bullshit, and I loved every minute of it. But when you take that and then you take it, you move it into Balboa and you move it into Creed, I fucking loved what he did with that. And I think if he had it's not Sly's fault. He didn't write the thing. He's got personal problems.
He's currently got
it's not Sly's fault.
The dissolving of his 25-year marriage.
His personal life, he's digging tunnels under his ranch at the moment. But
exactly.
So it's not all his fault, but I just felt like you cast him in this role because that's the sort of shit you wanted to do.
A little bit, yeah. And you kind of it feels like somewhat like what we're getting in streaming at the moment, which is we grab a couple of known quantities, we put a film together, we whack it on streaming.
Bang out a script as quick as we can. Don't take the time to...
you've only got to look no further than fucking Red Note. Well, look no further. That's absolute and utter shit. But Netflix knows people will get on here. And I think that's what Amazon Prime probably ended up doing. Allegedly, they were going to go to cinemas back in 2021.
Yeah.
This would not have played very well in the cinema at all.
No. Funny that you put Sly and Cruz neck and neck. Well, you didn't put it neck and neck.
I compared them.
I think your comparison would have been blown out of the water by second week. Fucking drop off for Samaritan I
actually think the first week wouldn't have been. There's not an audience for this. I can see where the audience is on Amazon Prime. You got an Amazon Prime subscription.
Well, yeah.
Stallone drops a picture. No worries, I'll check it out. Because it's costing me fuck all.
Yeah. Is it driving subscriptions?
No, I don't
sure.
think so. Somehow I don't think so.
I don't even have Amazon Prime streaming because I want the streaming. I have it because I want the fucking... The free, US to Australia postage benefits.
But look,
Samaritan was just a bonus.
I know. Overall, a pretty shitty bonus at that. I'd say.
Yeah.
But overall, it's just very frustrating. It's a very frustrating film
It is.
because it kind of had a lot more to give. I feel, but it just wasn't.
Yeah. And it's not.
It's a one-layer onion.
Yeah, it's the onion skin. As soon as you peel that shit off, you think,
You got nothing.
where's my onion?
Well, I was in fucking tears.
No, I think it's more disappointing because I'm projecting the fact that I've been waiting for a movie to do this well for quite a few years now.
Yeah.
I mean, since Hancock, I've been sitting there going, geez, they fucked that up. I wish someone could do it well.
And
So
Sylvester threw his hat in the ring and fucked it up as well.
Sylvester came along with his onion skin and said, what do you reckon?
Well, no. He came along with his fucking leathery skin. He's looking like a fucking crocodile.
Yeah, he doesn't look good.
No.
But again, that plays into that's what this should be.
Yeah, the Old Man River.
Yeah. But of course, in the finale, it's just same old slide.
Yeah. All right, that was Samaritan. You can find us on Podomatic, iTunes, Spotify, and all other places you get your podcasts. Send us an email at thrillme@iinet.net.au, or on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia, Podomatic at thrillme.podomatic.com, and Instagram at thrillmepodcastau. Make sure to rate and review us on iTunes and all the other platforms so we can get the word out. Next episode, again, we talked Lethal Weapon. I'm not quite sure how we're going to structure all this, but I believe Lethal Weapon's next up. I've already got buyer's remorse on mine. I've already got buyer's remorse on the horse that I'm currently on.
Well, can I just, before we get on that, can I just throw out a little bit about your, your record as an attorney?
Yeah. Look,
so you had me fucking folding. I pled guilty.
You pled guilty on Halloween 5.
I pled guilty on Halloween 5.
And you've come around to Halloween 6.
Yeah. Other than that, I think one of your other...
I tried to crap on about Seagal. Like a good actor.
Can I actually give you the line? Seagal can deliver a performance.
Yeah, okay.
That should have had you fucking disbarred.
I think the judge said, why are you in the courtroom? You're not an attorney.
And you opened your briefcase full of shredded paper.
No, it was just crackers.
Yeah, you pulled out all the snack from your briefcase and just
I did the Kramer. I just joined a group and went to work. I'm not even getting paid.
So your career's on the line with this one.
Yeah,
I believe you had one stellar victory where
look, early on.
The other attorneys just fucking come in and said, oh, look, I fucked up.
Yeah, I was all
on this case.
I was all glitz and glam. I was like Denny Crane. I was glitz and glam. Yeah, I got a couple of early wins, and then boom, I fell in a bit of a hole. So I'm not going to lie when I say that my current client, he's looking like he might be up for fucking death row.
Yeah, possibly.
I think looking back on it, I might be got this one wrong somehow.
But you've already booked in the dates. The judge has summoned you to appear.
So keep an eye out for that one. It's coming up. But until then, everyone, take it easy, and we'll catch up with everybody later. Cheers.
Find the podcast at Podomatic or on iTunes. Don't forget to rate and review. Like us on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia, or contact us at thrillme, all one word, all lowercase, at iinet.net.au.